It is Saturday afternoon and it is time to put some seeds in the dirt. It has been a week since I've been out in this greenhouse other than to water the plants and to open and close it morning and night. And I am just not the kind of person that is going to sit in her house and be sick. And that's what I've done for the last week. But I think that other than a scratchy voice and maybe a cough now and then, I think I'm pretty well over it. Today we're going to talk about culinary herbs. And last year was the first year that I had ever grown culinary herbs. And I did it primarily for my daughter and my nephew to use in their cooking. They both are really good cooks and they use a lot of herbs to season their food. And so I think that we probably had 5 or 6 different kinds, but only 4 or 5 different types. We did oregano and thyme, a couple of different kinds of basil, chives. I tried cilantro. I couldn't grow cilantro last year, but we're going to try that again. So this year, I'm going to start seeds for 15 different kinds. And we're going to have 2 different kinds of basil. We're going to try some coriander, dill, lemon balm, chicory, chamomile, chives, thyme. I'm going to try some peppermint, oregano, lemongrass, rosemary, and sage. And so we're just going to get busy here in a second. I'm going to use these terracotta 6-packs, mostly so that I can tell the difference between the herbs that are being planted and the vegetables that I've already planted. And I'm going to use these for both the culinary herbs and the medicinal herbs. And so we're going to get started and I'll let you see what I've done here in a minute. All right, so the sun has come out and it is bright in the greenhouse now. So that's why I had the sunglasses on. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about these seeds for the culinary herbs. You can tell by how many seeds are in a packet how little the seeds are going to be. So like this one in the lemongrass has 75 seeds. That's about a normal thing. But I think I looked here on the chamomile, there's 1,000 seeds in this little package. And so I can be guaranteed that those seeds are going to be super tiny. And the tinier the seed, the more difficult it is to sow. A lot of these seeds, both the medicinal herbs and the culinary herbs, you just put them on top of the ground and you don't cover them up because they have to have light to germinate them. And so you need to read the instructions on your seed packets. Some of these, like this is the sweet basil, and they're planted 1/4 of an inch deep. So that's kind of normal for most seeds. The larger seeds will probably be like the squash seeds, and the pumpkin seeds, they'll go down about 1 inch in the ground. So you just need to make sure that you read the package of their seeds. Now, if you've noticed, I've got these seeds that are from Seed Geeks, and these guys do heirloom seeds, and I got them from Etsy. And then the rest of the seeds that I got were from Gurney's, and I got these. I've had these for a while. These are not heirloom seeds. The difference between heirloom seeds and hybrid seeds is that heirloom seeds, if you are very talented and you want to collect the seeds, you can keep planting these. They won't change and they will germinate seed year after year. A hybrid seed will not germinate. You can collect the seeds, you can go ahead and let them go to seed however you want to do it. They will not grow the next year. So just keep that in mind. If you want to keep planting the very same thing, make sure that you get heirloom seeds. And if you want a wonderful seed catalog, Bear Creek Seeds is all heirlooms, and they have every kind of vegetable and every kind of seed or herb. So just keep that in mind if you want to get one of their catalogs. So I'm going to get started planting these, and I'll holler at you in a few minutes. I wanted to explain to you a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm going to start with these basil seeds, and if you'll look at them, they're small. They are black in color, and they're going to be kind of like a poppy seed. If you ever bought poppy seeds to make poppy seed dressing, they're going to be kind of a pain to put in the growing medium because they're just going to, you're not going to be able to see them when you put them in there. So you're going to just have to be really careful. But what I'm going to do is probably put 3 to 4 basil seeds in every single one of the sections on these 6-packs. And the reason I do that is because not every single seed is going to germinate. And so I'm just tripling my chances that at least one of them is going to germinate in each one of those little sections. If I get multiples, if I get 3 or 4 of them, should they get growing, then what I'll do is I'll wait till they're about an inch and a half tall, and then I'll move them into their own 6-pack and do that kind of a transplant. If I only have 1 in each one of those sections, then I'll probably transplant them into the peat pots, and that just gives them an opportunity to get stronger before I put them in the garden. But if I don't get these seeds planted and these pot plants growing, I'm not going to have a garden, because I'll be putting everything out there in July. But one of the things you need to be aware of, you can plant things in July in Utah and have them still grow. Last year, I had the opportunity to get a stock tank that's about 10 feet across. And so by the time I got it to the house, got it cleaned, got the holes drilled in it, and got all the growing medium in it, it was the middle of July. But we went ahead and planted it anyway, and we planted jalapeno plants. And the jalapenos were probably about 3 or 4 inches tall, but they grew great. They loved the heat. As long as I kept them moist, they were great. And we started getting our yield probably the end of September, and we had jalapenos until the first hard freeze. And so we were able to do a lot of jalapeno jelly and cowboy candy, and so that was great. But you need to know, you don't have to just plant in the spring. You can plant different things at different times. And another thing you need to be aware of is that some things like carrots, you should start planting them early in the season, and then 2 weeks later plant some more, and then 2 weeks later plant some more. And that way they are going to mature at different times, and you don't have a whole bunch of carrots that have to be canned or freeze-dried or dehydrated, whatever you're going to do with them to preserve your bounty. And so you just need to keep that in mind. There's all kinds of things like that. Beets and carrots, even potatoes can be like that. A lot of things that are cool plants, cool weather plants, like spinach and lettuce, you can do that with those as well. But just keep in mind that you can just plant anytime. You can figure it out. I hope to be able to be growing plants in this greenhouse probably at least 3 seasons, if not 4. It's going to be fairly expensive to try to heat this and keep the heat above freezing, but it probably can be done. We've done some research into propane heaters, and they'll probably do a much better job than the electric heater I had that I was using earlier in the spring. And either that, or I'm going to look into some solar heaters, which would be a lot easier on my pocketbook from month to month, even though they're going to be more expensive to purchase initially. The thing that I want to do at some point when I get rich or when I win the lottery is I want to build a geothermal greenhouse. I want to have an orange tree in Utah. I want to be able to go out there and pick a lemon off my lemon tree in the geothermal greenhouse. If you go to a website for, I think it's called Greenhouse in the Snow, and they're really cool. And they pull the air from the earth that is between 50 and 60 degrees in the winter time, so that it keeps your greenhouse at that same 50 to 60 degree weather or temperature. And then in the summer, it pulls that same thing into the greenhouse as well and cools everything off. And so you just have this temperature that's pretty much the same year round. And that is my goal. They're expensive, but maybe in time I can do that. So I'm gonna get started planting some more seeds, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, so the sun is going down, and I've got some things accomplished this afternoon. I got 4.5 flats of culinary herbs done, and I got some comfrey, and I also got a friend of mine that was thinning out her some of her medicinal plants called me or texted me this morning and wanted to know if I wanted to have some marshmallow root. And I was so excited because that's one of the seeds I got, and now I don't have to plant those. So this is what I did with them. So those are marshmallow root, and they're in those little bags until they get started growing, and then I'll put them in my medicinal garden when I get it up and going. Those little plants in the peat pots are comfrey, and then there's half a flat, and then if you'll look right back there, there's 3 more flats right there. And this is what I've got planted today and one day last week before I got sick. So I'm pretty excited. I did have to move the strawberries down onto the ground, and I noticed when I moved them that they have a little bit of moss growing on the top of them, and so I've got to cut back on the amount of water they're getting. They're getting too much water. So I'm just excited that I've got some stuff going, and it's stake conference tomorrow, so I won't be in church as much as I would be otherwise, and so I think I'll get some more of the medicinal herbs planted tomorrow. It's coming together, guys. I'm excited, and I hope you're doing something. I hope you're planting something. I hope you're getting your hands dirty. I hope you're enjoying yourself, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.